Welcome back, everyone, to Businesses Building Bridges, or affectionately known as B3. And we're very excited today because we have Stacey Geiger in the house. Welcome, Stacey.
Thank you.
And we're glad you're here today. And we're going to be grilling you on what you do.
Go for it.
So tell us, first of all, a little bit about what your business is, and then we'll get into other things.
Okay. So Geiger Law is our local law firm. We primarily do family, at least that's what we've become known for, but we also do estate planning and probate, and some other things on the side, just as obviously once you represent one client, it tends to flow into other things.
Okay.
And they always say, can you help us with this? And we usually try and do that.
What led you into selecting family law as the primary practice point?
Oh, I found that hole. So,
oh, goodness.
Right.
What does that mean?
So I had a completely different job. I was traveling for doing something totally separate for a big corporation. And I would get on a plane every Monday and I would come home Tuesday or Monday night. And my older son now was in school, and one of the teachers asked if we could help one of her family members. And I immediately said no, because it sounded terrible. And my friend was like, no, let me help you.
Help in what capacity?
She was a family law paralegal.
Okay.
She's like, look, we could do this together. She was a stay-at-home mom at the time. And I was like, no, that's okay. As long as this does not affect my travel, I'm certainly happy to do it. And we had the best time ever. And we just helped, and it worked out great for everybody. And then it started rolling like, oh, other people would say, can you help me with this? And we said, all right. She said she really would love to do it just because it kept her out of the house. And at that point, we were basically almost pro bono. And we did that for a couple years. And then, well, I guess we did it for almost 3 years. And then COVID hit. And on March 18th, 2020, all flights were grounded.
Oh,
and
wow.
then my job was grounded.
I didn't realize it was that young.
We started in 2017, the Geiger Law. And so I turned to her and I said, we should probably do this more full time since I don't have my job anymore. And it just grew from there. It all was word of mouth and referrals. And we thought, oh, we should probably get a website. And we did that. I mean, it's super organic. Nothing was contrived. And then my friend Andrea, who is an attorney who works with us now too, she had a similar job. And not long after COVID hit, she said, well, I can't travel either. And when travel started to come back, she said, I don't want to. She has 2 kids the same age. So we all had kids the same ages. She said, I want to be home with my kids. And I was like, well, quit your job and come, I call it, hang out with us. Mm-hmm. And that's what work is. And she said, okay. I said, leap of faith, just do it. And she's been with us ever since.
Wow. So you're an attorney, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you went to school for all that. And
so much.
Was that pre-2020 or because you were inspired by helping?
I graduated from law school in 2005.
Okay.
And I did debt settlement for a long time. I did debt collection in the beginning. And then the product litigation kind of is what my travel job was. Mm-hmm. And then in 2017, when we started Geiger Law, that's when we moved to this.
How long have you been in Palm Coast?
I moved here. Okay, sorry. If my son is 13, I moved 12 years ago. So what is that?
Okay.
So how did that start your practice here? Or continue your practice in Flagler County?
It started in Flagler.
Okay.
We hadn't been here very long when we started.
Wow.
So was there a moment in your early career that led you to want to be an attorney?
Oh, my whole life is the opposite of what people think.
Tell us. That's why we're here. We want to know.
So I went to UCF for my bachelor's, and then my husband was still attending UCF. So I hung around and I was like, well, I'll get a master's because they sent me a letter saying they'd pay for it. And I was like, sold American. So I went and got my master's. And then as that was ending, I turned to him one morning. I was like, I'm going to go to law school. And those who don't know Eric, okay, he said. So he's like, well, apply. And it turned out it was 1 week before the last LSAT. I didn't know what an LSAT was. So I was like,
neither do I. What is it?
So it's like the MCAT for doctors. It's the legal SAT version. So you have to take it to get in law school. So I signed up. I went over to Stetson. I took it. And then I started applying really late. He said, well, if we're going to do it, I want to try to go back, which was home at the time, to New York, New Jersey. I got into a school up there. We flew up there. We were there for 9 months, and 3 months in, there was a massive snowstorm, and my car was under snow for 3 months, and I couldn't get anywhere. And he said, okay, I want to go back to Florida. So after that year of law school, I had to apply to schools in Florida because he didn't want to be there. Yeah, this is how I make giant life choices, which is the opposite of what we tell all our clients. Like, you should sit down and think about.
Well, the things that you go through in life kind of portray what happens later on, and you don't even know what's happening until it happens.
Exactly.
My brother had a quote. He's, life is what happens to you while you're busy planning for it.
Yeah.
So, stop, drop, and roll back down to Florida.
Now, you did mention off air that you had a life-changing experience. If you could elaborate on that, since we started and didn't finish because we were saving it.
All of it.
Yes. All right, I'll give you the short version. So I was working at a very small firm in downtown Jacksonville, and it was not great, to say. I did not enjoy my days. And I was driving home, and at the time we lived in Yulee, and there's a 7-mile gap between the airport and the Yulee exit. And it was pouring rain, and it was November 10th, and my engine blew up on the side of the road. And I just started crying, and I called Eric. I was like, you have to come get me. And he picked me up, and we went home, and I looked at him, and I said, I'm so unhappy with the way things are going. I'm like, I'm going to quit my job this week. And then we're also going to have a kid. And we had been together for over, 10 years at that point. And he looked at me, and I had always said no kids. And he said, okay. And then I said, I'm changing everything else. And the next day,
just because your engine broke down.
Because my engine broke down. I had a bizarro moment. And the next day, I dropped him off at work because he worked in Yulee, and I was driving a Miata at the time. And I went to the dealership across the street from him, and I said, I need the most ridiculous, oversized vehicle on your lot because I'm doing the opposite. And I told him, I said, I have a Miata. It'll be a trade-in. They didn't, we didn't really discuss the fact that it had blown up on the side of the road. And it was 2004 when the gas was $4 something a gallon. So they had this Lincoln Navigator on their lot that was so underpriced because nobody wanted it.
That sounds like a land yacht.
It was great, but I was quitting my job, so I didn't need gas to go anywhere.
True.
So I was like, that's the car for me. I called him. I said, I'm buying an oversized vehicle. I'm going to go to the doctor and tell them that we have to have a kid. And this is the way our life is going to go from now on. And he's along for the ride all the time.
I love that.
And that's how this happened.
Wow.
I know very small amount about Eric because we're in the same dance class. And I know that from just looking at him, he feels very similar to my husband, very quiet, very supportive, just kind of goes with the flow. So it's good that he has someone like that for someone like you.
Delightful, right?
Yes, delightful.
I thought that's where you were going.
I want to know. So this is about businesses building bridges. But in your world, the bridge is already coming down with the families, and obviously divorce is part of that. Tell us about that kind of what happens. I guess take us through. Tell us what you want us to know about the divorce and the legal aspects of that.
Okay. So at least for how we handle it, right?
Right.
So my favorite thing, and I've discussed it around both of you, is when a couple can amicably get to a finish line. When they call and we say, look, this isn't working out for us, can you put it, and we do those in 24 hours, in 48 hours, in a week. It's easy, it's simple, we all walk away happy. If somebody calls us and they have kids, my first thing is that we do usually, at least we try to require a consultation, because there are things that are important to me. Because at this point, having been in business now for this many years, luckily we can be selective.
On your clients.
Yes. And in the beginning we weren't. And the most important thing to me, and I've discussed it with both of you, I'm kids.
Right.
Like when I speak to clients, and hopefully whoever's listening doesn't use this as a cheat, but the first thing I ask in a consultation or when someone has hired us, if they have children, I say, give me the top 3 important things to come out of this for you. And I don't tell them what I'm looking for. But if the first one, is anything but I just want my kids, we get through the consultation and I'm out. I'm like, I don't think I'm the right fit for you. If they say, I just want my kid, I don't care, then okay, keep going. Let's see where we can get you. Yeah.
Take the next step.
So you have to be a psychologist also, really, to kind of work through the emotional and mental part of that terrible situation and what's going to happen to that child through this, because of this, and after this.
Yeah, it's so hard. And
it really is.
And if we accidentally, I say accidentally, if they come in and they're not all about their kids, then I'm not interested. But when they are, I can at least walk them through what's going to happen. Because in Florida, we start at the starting point is there's a presumption of 50-50 time sharing. And for the most part, when you get a stay-at-home mom who's calls and she's like, I've been here for 10 years and he doesn't take them to school. He doesn't take them to the doctor. He doesn't take them to the park. He's never planned a birthday party. He doesn't know what it's like to buy Christmas gifts. It's a hard hill to climb up because to get to that top, you have to know that there's a really good likelihood that he's going to have far more time than you would think.
Or far more time than he's ever had put into the relationship. Right. So it's not always about the dad falling short of parental responsibilities. How do you, are there women that are at fault? Or
absolutely.
Okay.
I think we're probably...
There's
I don't know, we might be right somewhere. It's probably almost equal, I would say.
Well, I think for me, for not having children and watching so many parents, both, of course, mothers are very different than fathers, but in the same situation, it's just difficult to raise a child because you have these ideas, but then how do you portray them? And then how do you get along with the spouse to have the same ideas of raising a child? And that kind of brings in arguments,
you definitely
financial... No, nobody really does. You just kind of do it.
There's no handbook on how to raise children before you get pregnant. There's none.
No.
You can read all the books.
We're still winging it every day.
You can read all the books, but at the end of the day, it's the child's personality that's going to drive that situation that you have to navigate through, which is a different personality from them.
Right. And then one of the fun things is, like if one parent is, let's say a vegetarian and the other one is not, and, they separate and, maybe she's a vegetarian. She's like, I don't want our daughter eating, chicken nuggets. And he's like, it's a chicken nugget here,
That becomes a problem.
I'm like, this is not an emergency situation, guys.
Have the issues increased over the years because of sensitivities to food and I mean, it feels like they have.
They have, and everyone thinks something's an emergency.
Can you give us an example of issues that you have gone to the mat over, or parents have gone to the mat over?
It depends on just how angry they are. I mean, some of the things that bother me, again, because I'm pushing for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, that's the most important thing, is to make sure that they're going to be okay. And some of the ridiculous things are like when one parent doesn't want to enroll them in an extracurricular activity. And how does that hurt a kid? You know, little Johnny wants to play soccer. Let him play soccer. I could see if, little Susie wants to be part of the travel dance, which is $900 a month. And that's a real thing, by the way. I don't have little girls.
I know it is. Yeah.
Crazy expensive. So I can see that, and we all the time will put a spending cap. Your kids can be enrolled in anything up to this limit. But fighting over that is ridiculous because it's really just selfish.
But don't you get to a point in a relationship where all it is fighting?
All day long.
Right. I mean, because once it starts and you can't figure out how to work together, not only as a parent, but as a couple, to take those steps to realize what you're doing. So it is give and take. And I think in relationships in general, then you start adding children and then they start to grow and all the things that go along with that. It becomes such life altering that you have to change yourself as a parent, not just as a person in front of your child for the child. But
you would hope.
You would hope. But of course, that usually never happens because you are that person who you are, not thinking, oh, whatever I do is going to affect this child. Whatever they see that I'm doing is going to affect them. And it's like this vicious cycle that just never ends. And the kid is usually the one who suffers.
All the time. And it becomes so tunnel vision-y. One parent thinks that they're completely right. And the other parent either doesn't care or thinks that they're completely right. And there's just no... When they get that angry,
right? One wants to go, one doesn't want to go, and there's,
So how do you separate the emotional issues from the legal issues? That's why you're really there.
Yeah, we get calls all the time, and I have to say,
I want the toaster.
Right, this is not an emergency. This isn't an emergency. We actually had a final hearing, a trial, over truly a list of things. Like possessions. And the judge had walked in and said, figure this out because you don't want me to. And that because what a judge will do is just say, you get the phone, you get the headphones. He doesn't care.
They're fighting over that sort of stuff?
There was a Keurig on the list.
Coffee maker.
Right. Yeah.
Go get another.
Right.
But I think it also becomes like a control issue.
It is
ego trip.
All the time.
Right. And you're like, no, it's mine.
Right.
Like, all right, really? Is this worth fighting over? And then your kid watching this, and that's what
we've truly turned to clients and I've offered to buy the product. I'm like, I'll just pay for it. If we could not fight over this, I'll give it to you.
But it's ultimately deeper than the item.
It is. It's just anger management.
It is. And that's why, psychology is a whole nother aspect that you really have to be that medium in between.
And we suggest that too, marriage counseling. Like, try this first.
Mediation maybe help.
Right. And they're really good. We do suggest a lot when kids are having a hard time, like get your kids into counseling. And every parenting plan in Florida will say that either parent can enroll the child in mental health counseling. So even if one parent says no and the other one says yes, like they can get. And this is a tough transition for any kid. I'm the product of divorced kids. I mean, you're looking at 1 and 2 are going to fail. Right. So what are the...
And I was too.
Help your kid, right?
Yeah, I was 13. But I knew it. I knew that there was something wrong. And I'm like, you guys need to do something. So when it happened, it was upsetting. But it's still, I felt better because I knew that them together was not a good combination.
Right. And sometimes that is so much healthier than not. And that's what a lot of parents don't understand is if you are fighting in front of your kid 24 hours a day, it's
not healthy.
No, separate. Like they'll get over the hump of sharing homes, but they won't get over seeing. I mean, is that a healthy relationship? Is that what you want your kid to walk into?
Well, and some people stay together because they're like, oh, what am I going to do? I'm going to be a single mom. I got to go to work. Who's going to watch my kids? Like all these things that happen. So you wind up staying in that relationship, even though it's toxic, because you're trying to weigh your options, deciding which is better. Do I leave? Right. Do I stay? Staying goes with this. Leaving comes with this. So that's, I think, the most challenging part, too, is for a mother, especially to decide what to do with her children. Right. Stay or go. What's worse?
Yeah. And you have to sit there and think about it.
Absolutely. And every aspect of it.
What does success look like at the end of a case?
So
for you, what ultimate outcome would you like to see?
When we walk in in every family law case, once it's filed, at some point you're getting to mediation. It's just required, right? And I always tell clients, I'm like, look, the best outcome here both parties are going to walk away not thrilled, but they're going to each feel like they got a win. And usually it's because one parent is all about time sharing and one parent is all about saving money on child support. And if you walk away that way, then great, fireworks. That's the win.
So it's going to suck no matter what angle you look at it from, but it'll suck less if you can all walk away with a win.
Yeah. If you walk away and say, I got this portion of what I needed, then absolutely.
Do you help guide them to that? I mean, because I can't even imagine that some people actually know what they want or what is a win.
Right. So one of the things that we say, like I was saying, with if your kid is the most important to you, then we say, look, you know, maybe you do need child support, but if you're looking to get substantially more time and the court wouldn't otherwise award that, then maybe we push down this child support and you just, you know what, if little Johnny is going to dad's house not every other week, you know, as the courts probably would award, but every other weekend, maybe every other weekend, you go get a side job.
Right.
You know, you have to be fairly pragmatic about it at the same time and say, if I need money, but I also want my kid, what can I do? I'm the first person to say, then you need to get a second job. Like, it stinks to say it because your life is going to change, and that's a hard.
Oh, I imagine.
That's a tough battle.
Have to figure out how to adult. It comes with, you know, living. It's not just you get things handed to you because you had a kid. Right. And, you know, the husband does well financially. Whatever the situation is, you still have to make adult decisions in order to support you and your kid. It's just what it boils down to. Not that you want to go to work. I mean, I don't know how many people really want to go to work. It's not so like, oh, me, I want to go work at McDonald's. Yeah, I mean, so I think it's just it's such a challenge.
But it exists. Right. And if you want that, then you just have to find something to balance it. But if I can get you this, you're in charge of figuring out the other side of it.
What a tough situation.
So this leads me to, like I mentioned, I know that we're in the same dance classes, and I know you're a Disney fanatic. How does Stacey take care of Stacey and her family after a court or a divorce is settled?
I take them away. I get out.
So you get out, you take your family with you, and you go into fantasy world or whatever.
We do.
Because it has to take a toll.
It does. And my kids, they know if we're deep in one because I'm not there all, you know, we're a virtual remote firm. So I work from my house. So I do see them all the time. But when we're deep in one, I'm like, I might be on the computer until 10 at night. The first thing I do when it ends is we go away on Saturday. We'll go to Disney and all four. The firm went together this past weekend. We all went on the 20th. We went with other friends of ours, and that's our getaway. And then, despite my husband telling me he can't go on vacation every month, I definitely plan one.
So it would have to. I mean, I know I would feel like totally drained mentally, physically, emotionally after that kind of scenario. So you get away.
I do.
Yeah. With the kids and your family. So cool.
So I just want to talk about networking a little bit because you've been networking for how long?
When did I join
Palm Coast?
When did I join the one? Maybe 2 years ago?
Okay.
You know what? We did it. No, I did it in right before. Yeah, I guess about a year and a half ago.
Oh,
I joined the other group because it was. So our, God love her, Brooke, who when people call, Brooke's the person who's going to pick up the phone. And she is unbelievably incredible. We don't know what title she has. If she's angry, she's the head of HR. If she has a really good idea for expanding, she's the head of marketing. She's a legal assistant. She does everything. But my son, she was a first grade teacher locally. And she was the first grade teacher for my older son and then my younger son. And when he was in class, she says that it was me. I say that it was her that said, you know, I'm going to quit and come work with you. She says I demanded it. So it's whatever. We remember it separately.
Yes.
But we set a date, and I said, okay, we're going to make this happen. And that's when I joined the networking group, because I said, I need to be able to grow to bring her in with us. And she's actually made an incredible difference in the year she's been there. And every day I'm like, oh, I need you to learn this. And
Sure.
Yeah. She's like, okay, sure.
So growth is part of any business. When someone is going through a difficult time in their family, how do they find you? And give us the information on your contact information on how do they get to you? And how are they feeling, before that call is made?
So my guess is, and we're heavily referral based, but a lot, I guess, come from online searches.
Okay.
Just Geiger Law. It comes up as our website is 386lawfirm.com.
Okay.
And then online marketing, I guess. I mean, we don't do any. I think it's a lot of when people go online and Facebook, because we're so selective. I hate to say, we genuinely are excited when we're done with our cases and our clients are happy. And they've been kind enough to be a great referral system for us.
So you're navigating your clients through a very difficult situation, and they're actually coming out pleased, maybe not happy because their family is torn apart, but as good as it can be for the scenario that they're in.
I think so. And I think they're happy to be able to start over in a new space.
Right.
And we've created that for them.
And then Stacey goes away. And to recoup.
Sometimes come back, but yes.
Charge your batteries.
I do love that, Stacey, you are very blunt. You don't play games. And I think that's very important in what you do is get to the point and try to help people as much as you can and not waste any time.
I try. I tell people straight up, I'm not interested in taking all of your money. I think your money should be kept for your kids and your family. The faster we can get you in and out, the happier I am.
It's fantastic.
So how does a person get in touch with you? Go over those contact information again, your phone number, the website, and what they can expect at the first discovery session.
Okay, so it's 386lawfirm.com. Our direct line is 386-264-6937. And when you call, you'll get in touch with Brooke. And most likely she'll just schedule a half-hour consultation, I think, and we don't need more than that. In a half hour, you can get a good feel. And I also suggest, contact other attorneys. You don't buy the first car you sit in.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean,
you
shop
have to
around.
have a connection there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you don't feel it, if I don't feel it,
Right.
Not everybody is a perfect match.
Right.
I'd say you don't marry the first person you meet, but
That's true.
That's
very true.
Well, Stacey, we're so grateful that you're here today, and we were able
And we've got her in our pocket because we need her.
Yes,
that's right.
Of course, we just scratched the surface. So we hope that we can have you back again to uncover another layer of what you do in divorce, family law, and the other, what would you call them, modalities that you do in your law firm. But
I love that.
Thank you for being here. Thank you, Shara, for another great episode of
Absolutely.
B3. And we'll see you again next time.
Thanks, guys.